So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this kind of like drawing that I made in my data view into an actual usable kind of shape file that I can use again and again and again. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here to my drawing bar again, and this time click this drawing menu, and I'm going to go over here to graphic operation, or not graphic operation, sorry, to convert graphics to feature. So I'm going to make this a feature class. And what I might actually do is just create a whole separate geodatabase that just has this area of interest in it. That way it's much smaller and easier to manage. So I want to convert the polygon graphic, and it's asked me what spatial coordinate system I want to use. I'm going to use the same as the data frame because I know the data frame is using the correct spatial coordinate system. And where do I want to save it? So this is where I'm going to click on the folder button, and I'm just going to create a whole new geodatabase for this, for just this particular thing. So inside of the GIS folder in GDB, over here on the bar where it says new file geodatabase, I'll just click on that. Sometimes it'll appear, sometimes it won't. Some of you may have to click this drop down and choose this top option. So it created a generic one. I can right click on it here, or click on it 2 times somewhere in the name, which will allow me to rename it. So I'll just call this Stormwater Network Analysis 1. I guess I have 2 of them named that way. Sometimes this happens where it doesn't refresh. If it does that, just navigate up and then go back in there, and then it should refresh. So I'll go ahead and double click on that now. And now I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it SysBnd for system boundary. So this is what I'm defining as my system boundary. And I'm going to click save. And then from here, we've already set everything. I'll just go ahead and click OK. And it's asking me if I want to add this to my map layer. Sure, we'll go ahead. And now that graphic thing that we sketched in here, we can just select that and delete it. So we have a more permanent one now. We have one that's an actual shapefile. And if I want to, I can drag and drop this into here. And I can drag and drop all these contours into my topography layer. I want to keep things organized. And then I'll just click save, or I'll do a save as, because now we're doing our existing conditions. So remember I said that ArcGIS has kind of like strict naming restrictions. For MXD documents, those rules don't apply. So you can start names with numbers, have special characters. It does not apply to MXD documents. It only applies to things that you decide to save into your geodatabase. So here I'll go ahead and click save. It also, that naming scheme does not apply to these group that I made here to group all of the stuff into a way to organize my layers. So the naming restrictions also does not apply to those. But it does apply to these things in here. You notice I made my shapefiles a little bit longer name. But it doesn't really matter since we're just using those to find where our system boundary is. So I probably did a little bit overkill on the system boundary here, but that's okay. This is for demo purposes.